All right, so going back to the NFL draft, you were saying, like, you were giving your feelings about Kenny Pickett.
I think he produced in a weak ACC. The ACC last year wasn't the best. The competition wasn't the best, and he took advantage of that. So that's pretty much what I think. I thought Malik Willis was the best quarterback in the draft from a standpoint of what can he be in the NFL. I think we've already seen. I think Kenny Pickett is already at his ceiling. I think Malik Willis. I think we don't know yet what he's going to look like with NFL style coaching, with NFL style players around him. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think he could be all world. He could be, you know what I mean? He could be all world. He could be lots of things. So we'll see. For me, I think some of the winners from this draft, just to wrap this up really quick.
Hey, real quick. Go back to Kenny Pickett real quick. I swear, when I watched him in Pittsburgh, I swear that guy was like a game manager until like this last year, and he had like a decent season.
That's exactly what it was.
Bro, he was so pedestrian. He was so pedestrian. Then he had a decent year and got drafted.
Yeah, his first ever start was against the U. He threw like 10 interceptions. Now, yeah, I'm joking around, but he played terrible. The University of Miami, they blitzed him, they sacked him. Yeah, he played terrible.
I remember, did he beat you in that game? Because I remember that's when you was 10-0.
He played terrible.
Well, no, he did play bad, but you still lost anyway. I remember.
Yeah, you still lost anyway. Yeah. And that was the funny thing about it. People were mad. Like, how did you lose to that quarterback? He was terrible.
Yeah.
And they lost. That was the old remnants of Manny Diaz not having the guys ready to play.
Yeah.
But some of the teams I think who I think I think they're going to be looking good with this draft in the next few years is Baltimore, getting Kyle Hamilton, getting that center from Iowa, getting the Jabo they're going to put on ice for at least a year or two. I think the defensive tackle from UConn they got Jones is pretty good. I think Cincy as well. Cincy, they have the offense. So now I think Cincy's going to put up points at least for the next 5 to 6 years, particularly when both of those guys get in their prime. All three of the guys, both receivers and the quarterback, get into their primes. I think the problem with Cincy is we need pass rushers and we need coverage. So they picked up the safety from Michigan. They picked up Cam Taylor-Britt from Nebraska, who I think is a good corner. I think he's going to be a pretty good corner in the NFL. I think they did good. I think they did well. I think for me, A+ drafts were from the New York Jets and from the Houston Texans. Both teams, the New York Jets and the Houston Texans, each their first 5 picks for each team are potential starters and potential Pro Bowl players. Their first 5. If you look at what they did, the Jets was what? What was the Jets? The corner from Cincy, Sauce Gardner. The next one was Garrett Wilson. Who was the third one?
Running back from Iowa State, Breece
Hall. Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
Great pick.
Those are 5 starters. 5 starters and potential Pro Bowl players, all pros. Particularly in the case of Jermaine Johnson, who got drafted so late in the first round. Houston, they got Stingley, they got Christian Harris from Alabama, they got John Mechie from Alabama, they got a massive mauler from Texas A&M. I think it was an offensive tackle, and I think they picked a tight end too. I want to say the tight end was from who I watched. I want to say he was from Ohio State. So they got 5 potential starters as well. I think for me,
the Jets got a tight end from Ohio State.
That's who got it. Yeah, that's who got it.
Jeremy Ruckert.
Jeremy Ruckert. Yep. I think for me, one of the players, this entire draft, and but I haven't been up to date with the whole pro days and all that stuff before the draft. So I was shocked to find out on draft night, knowing about linebackers and how I like to watch linebackers play and whatnot. I kept on saying to myself, hey, where's that guy from LSU, Damone Clark? Where's he at? Hold on. And I gotta say, his tape against Alabama and Nakobe Dean's tape at linebacker, those were the two best, I think, linebackers in the country last year. Was Nakobe Dean and Damone Clark from LSU. Put on the Alabama game when LSU played Alabama last year. You will see Damone Clark dominating, and he's dominating against NFL type offensive linemen. He's playing, and they're coming downhill. They're running the rock with them big running backs, with Robinson and everybody. They're coming downhill, and he's taking on offensive linemen, meeting them in the hole, flinging them, and taking on running backs, taking on fullbacks, and making tackles. And I remember from his pro day, he had tested well. He was like 6'3", 240, ran a 4.5, had like 30 bench presses and 225, 38-inch vertically. So all that, I'm just like, yo, where's Damone Clark? So I decided like he should have been the first, like he should have been a top 10 pick. This dude had spinal fusion surgery recently.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, yo, what? Are you serious? Are you serious? And I was totally shocked at that. And he went to the perfect situation. I don't know if he's gonna be able to come back. Because I mean, we're talking spinal fusion, dude. Like seriously.
Yeah, that's serious surgery.
Can he even walk? I mean, spinal fusion. He went to the perfect team, and I'm gonna tell you why. Mm-hmm. Damone Clark plays linebacker. He had an injury in college that they take care of, and he went to guess what team? The Dallas Cowboys. They have a history of drafting linebackers, putting them on ice for a year, and that player being good, being all world for about 3-4 years until, degenerative issues with the body starts to happen, as in the case with Smith. So yeah, I'm hoping Damone Clark's able to come back and make it back to play, because that kid could play. That dude could play. And if you think about it, they won the national championship. They had Pat McQueen. They had Devin White with the previous year when he was there, I think as a freshman, and they had him. He was playing sparingly, but LSU over the past like 4 or 5 years, they have a history of producing linebackers, and he was the next great LSU linebacker, and he played like it. I mean, he led the SEC in tackles, I want to say.
Yeah. So you say you like Jets and Texans. About the Texans, so Derek Stingley, man, he had a great freshman year. People talk about him as one of the goats, like on like a Deion Sanders level. But 2020 and 2021, he kind of took a step back. I mean, obviously we saw the protein and all stuff. The athleticism is there. But is he going to be a good pro? Oh no, man. What are your thoughts on Derek Stingley?
The pedigree at LSU is they produce over the past 15 years. They produce DBs. So he's coming from a DB powerhouse that are known to they produce players. Mm-hmm. So that's one. Two, he had the amazing freshman year. He was going up against NFL talent in practice in Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. I think the second year was COVID. I give every player gets a mulligan from me for COVID. Every player, I don't care who it is. Every player, if you played bad, you get a mulligan. If you played good, you get a mulligan as well, because COVID happened. Like every player gets a mulligan. And then this past year, he had a plantar fasciitis, and the whole LSU program was a complete wreck with Ed Orgeron leading the program. And you know what happened to him. I mean, it's been reported about the stuff he was doing at LSU the final year. Bringing dates to practices, bringing girls he's dating their children to practice, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Hitting on boosters' wives and stuff like that. So yeah, first year was all world. Second year, COVID. Third year, Ed Orgeron. That's how I'm gonna chalk it up. So yeah, for me, that's. Yeah.
Yeah. So going to our last topic, man. So name, image, and likeness. At first, I was all for it. Young black man, get your money. I love it. But this past week, past days, you see what's happening with the Jordan Addison. Arguably the best shape in the country. He just decides on a whim. Yo, I want my money. I'm out of here. USC is accused of tampering, getting him to go there. Honestly, it seems pretty true because as soon as he entered the portal, like USC was already announced as favorite leader, and Pitt's coach Pat Narduzzi called Lincoln Riley and cursed him out. That was when there's gotta be like a cap, man. We gotta do something about this, man. I don't. Otherwise, I think NIL is just gonna be like how it already was. I mean, everybody knows that SEC is playing players already. So just gonna be more the same. People playing big dogs championships. I don't think NIL is gonna make any more parity. What are your thoughts?
I totally disagree with you. I like the fact the players getting their money. Get your money. Get your money. NCAA, they're making billions of dollars a year with these broadcast rights. ESPN is signing with these colleges, giving them the SEC network, making billions of dollars, making hundreds of millions of dollars. Get your money. These head coaches are signing $100 million deals to be a head coach. I'm sorry. It stopped being about scholarships and books and libraries and academic degrees once these TV deals exploded. How about if you guys have a problem with the players getting paid, and think about it, the players aren't even being paid what they deserved because the NCAA is not paying them. The colleges are not paying. These are boosters who are paying them when they should be getting some of that TV money. That's exactly what they should be getting. They should be getting that TV money. But if anybody has a problem with this, has a problem with the players getting their money, has a problem with, I don't like the way I was going, this, that, and the third, it needs to be back the way it is, then how about this? You pay the college football coaches who are getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. How about you pay them too in library and books? How about you pay them too in education? How about you pay them too in unlimited meals in the cafeteria? How about you pay them too with going to the training table? Like enough with the academics and this, that, and the third. It stopped being that a long time ago once coaches started getting $10, $20 million a season to coach. This is college football's big business. Big business. Big business. And what should it matter if the colleges aren't paying? These are boosters who are paying. These are businesses who are signing these NIL deals. It is what it is. It's been going on for a long time. These coaches have been getting all this money and they've been running these programs like kings, benching players. Players didn't have any rights to fight for it, particularly when I played. If you didn't like a coach, if a coach didn't like you, they would just bench ass and then tell you, you can't transfer here because of this, that, and the third, or whatever, or say bad things about you, like this, that, and the third. Nah, I can transfer whenever I want to, and I'm gonna get this money. Like, if college coaches can quit in the middle of a season or quit right before a bowl game, like the LSU coach, and quit, players, you can do the same thing. I do not care. I don't care. Pat Narduzzi's probably making $5-10 million a year. I can care less, bro. Do your job. Be a better coach. Coach the players you have. I can care less. These coaches don't get nothing from me. I can give two shits about them. Like, you're taking a lot of these players. Some of these players are from tough communities, and you want to teach them this, man? Get your money, dog. Like, these coaches are getting paid millions of dollars off your back. Like, bro, I don't want to hear that. I do not want to hear that. That sounds like a Fox News talking point. Shut up and dribble. You're getting books. You're getting books. You're getting free library. Okay, if that's the case, okay, then let's pay the coaches in free library too. Let's pay the coaches in books as well. Let's pay the coaches in tuition. How about that? Let's pay the coaches in tuition? Like, give me a break. No, stop it. Particularly in the SEC. SEC has the SEC network. They got CBS. They got all these. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. As you can see, how hard lined I am with this, with the players getting paid, and they deserve to be paid more money because, like I said, they're not even getting money from the TV deals. They're not even getting money from the colleges. This is all name, image, and likeness that they're getting from businesses. And the Ohio State athletic director said a perfect thing recently. I guess they had a board meeting of all the ADs from the James Smith from the Power 5 conferences, and he made a suggestion. He said that all of the Power 5 conferences, they need to leave the NCAA and form their own football conference, form their own football powerhouse. The five power conferences, form their own ruling body, form everything of their own. Because the NCAA is full of shit. I mean, for years, full of shit. Amateurism. It's all shamateurism, bro. Amateurism. Think about all the players throughout these years, before name, image, and likeness, before these transfer rules were a lot more good for the players. Think about all the players that had to sit out. Think about all the players that were suspended because they got a meal from somebody. Think about all the players that had to sit out because they got a suit from somebody. Think about all the players that
sat out for getting free tattoos.
They're getting free tattoos, bro. Like, seriously, bro. Give me a break, bro. Like, NCAA, they can go shove rocks. And anybody who's trying to apologize, who's trying to cape for them, like you two, trying to cape for the NCAA, saying it's the Wild Wild West. Pratt Narduzzi, he can kick rocks. Gene Chizik, when he came out like earlier this year, saying how, this is going down a slippery slope. We shouldn't be giving these players this, that, and the third. Bro, Cam Newton got you $50 million, bro. Shut up. Cam Newton got you paid, bro. Shut up. Just stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. Like, Gene Chizik, that guy, oh my goodness. These coaches drive me insane. Bro. Listen, any college football player watching this, get your money.
Well, there you have it, I guess. I have no rebuttal for you. I was going to say real quick. You talk about Power 5 conference. You want to talk about college football real quick? You said Power 5 conferences branching off on their own like association, whatever. I think the Power 5 is about to be a Power 4 because Texas and Oklahoma are going to SEC. The Big 12 is about to be nothing.
Yeah, I think I think they're going to try to reach out to a few teams to see if they want to come into the conference. I think West Virginia's already in the Big 12, right?
Yeah. I
think they should reach out to this team.
The teams that saw, I think they either they joining or they're trying to join are UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati.
I was just about to say that. Since you should join the Big 12, UCF should join the Big 12 just because there's talent in Florida. Like, you always gonna get that's a good thing. And Houston, for years. So back in the 70s and 80s, Houston used to be in the Big 8, the old Big 8 that became the Big 12.
Okay.
And once they became the Big 12, back in the 90s, I think it was the Big 8, then it was like the Big, then it became the Big 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I think 1996 when Arkansas was SEC.
Yeah. University of Texas Longhorns, they did not want Houston to be in the same conference as them. They did not want Houston in the Big 12. They did not want Houston to have all the power because they realized Houston is a sleeping giant. The University of Houston is a sleeping giant. It's a fertile recruiting ground. Fertile recruiting ground. They got the players. They got the facilities. They got the backer. Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Houston Rockets. Houston's in a big major market. So University of Texas has been for years trying to cockblock Houston from becoming a Big 12 participant.
Yeah.
And I predict if Houston becomes a part of the Big 12, they're gonna take off. Because Houston, now I realize Houston was a good team in the 80s. They were a top 25, top 15 team in the 80s.
But Houston's a good team now.
Yeah, they're a good team now, but they fell off. But Houston was a really good team in the 80s and in the 90s. I mean, think about the quarterbacks they had: David Klinger, Andre Ware. They had, Houston and SMU were the two teams in Texas in the 80s that were really, really good.
Yeah, SMU's coming back now.
Yeah, the Pony Express with Eric Dickerson and Craig James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SMU is now starting to come back.
Yeah.
They're a really good team.
So yeah, man, for me, man, get your money, one. And then two, if I was the Big 12, I would definitely try to get Houston up in there, UCF, and Cincinnati and see what happens. I think for the ACC, I think the ACC is a failing conference because the two legendary powers, Miami and Florida State, I think that time has ended. I think because the SEC just has more money to pay players. So I don't think there's going to be a Miami and Florida State ever again. I think that's over with. I think that's done.
I don't know, bro. Miami's starting to make waves now. Cristobal back and NIL. They're starting to make. I think Miami coming back, for real.
Yeah, I mean they have some NIL, but there's only one guy giving out NIL money. I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, John Reese.
Yeah, John Reese, who's trying to do the whole soccer stadium as well. I heard about that deal. The other day. He's trying to get through with the mayor.
No, I seen the other day they want to build UM Stadium or Tropical Park is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they've been trying to do that for years. I think that's one of the downfalls of the whole game experience for Miami Hurricanes football games is going all the way to the NFL stadium, going that far. I think one of the most incorrect things they did was tearing down the Orange Bowl. I think they should have renovated it and keep it there and just continue to have the Orange Bowl. I think that's really what they should have did. Or the second thing is the whole Tropical Park thing. Make a small stadium. It doesn't have to be 100,000. Make it 50,000. Make it 40,000. And have that place rocking. Like FIU Stadium, that same kind of size, and have that place rocking. And I think that would be good for UM. That would be good for UM.
For real.
Yeah, man. But like I said, I don't think any of the Florida schools are going to come back. The only school I think that's going to come back potentially is Florida. And that's only because they play in the best conference. So you're going to have a lot of guys from Florida, like top-ranked guys who want to play in the SEC. They're going to say, oh, I can stay in Florida and play in the SEC. So I'm just going to go to Florida. I think that's the problem. I think that's why Florida is always going to have the best recruits moving forward, is guys like that. And Florida's a state school, so they're going to have money to spend on NILs and whatnot. So, I mean, you have guys driving Range Rovers and stuff like that. Beforehand it was a little more hush hush. Now it's guys are blatantly driving big body Mercedes Benzes and stuff like that. I mean, the defensive end from Oregon, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau was just like, yeah, I had a Benz in college, like stuff like that. I mean, but he did an NFL. But he did have an NFT deal with Nike and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, man, that's my whole take on the NIL.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I know we disagree, but I just want to say, obviously, I want players to get paid, but I just think just leaving schools, especially schools on a moment's notice, I just think it's weird. I think NIL soon gonna be the contract is gonna be like contracts gonna be like pro contracts. Like you got like you get this money, but you have to be at school for a certain amount of time.
I think that's the next rendition of the NIL is that right there.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the next thing. I think that's going to be the next part of NIL. Okay, we're going to give you this money, but you got to be here for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're a freshman coming in as an NIL, we'll give you this as a freshman if you do this, and if you become a starter the second year, we'll give you this, but you got to stay for the third year.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going. As far as college basketball is going to be a little bit different with the NIL just because guys are going straight to the NBA after 1 year in college. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult. Stay for the second year. Whereas I think guys are just going to be like, yo, you're going to be like Penny Hardaway and Blue Chips. Listen, coach, dead sweat. Listen, coach, I'm going to need, $1 million in unmarked bills. put inside a bag. You know what I mean? Like how Penny Hardaway fleeced Nick Nolte.
Yeah. No, for real.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Pretty much it, man. Gotta wrap it up.
Yep.
Got anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, man, nothing, man. Just keep grinding, keep pushing. I'm loving the podcast, man, and you know, I really like doing this with you. So yeah, man, you know.
Sir, sir. Once again, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, you know, you can find us. I took a little hiatus. You feel me? I popped some mushrooms and walked around the desert for a little bit to find myself. But you know, I decided to come back. You know, podcasting my passion, man. Well, it's becoming a passion. I just like turning on the camera and talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening or watching Football with Kid Roberts podcast. Appreciate you guys. Spotify, YouTube, you know where to find us. All the fields, just Google, you'll find it. And there you go, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Peace.